Alright, so we're going to set up the weld here, and I got some V-Groove coupons here laid out, and we're going to give the B14 E6019 a go. And you're going to see firsthand how this runs. We're going to be using it at 140 amps, because that's, well, 130 is about the minimum suggested for this diameter of rod. We're going to be using it at roughly that, and all the positions it is good for, which would be 3G, 4G, 2G, 1G, and 1F. Starting off with a 1F, the fillet weld, the flat position, and it's a T-joint. We'll turn it up to 140 amps, and we're going to give this a go. Look, I like this position. We're just going to go with it. I have a feeling that didn't go real great. This is why I dislike E613 type rods so much. Because there's so much slag in that puddle. Even when it's still liquid moving around, it's almost impossible to see your puddle. It's just enveloped by slag all over the place. What do I got? See, after I got past that first and this little bump there, it looks fine. But in the beginning, I knew I wasn't going to have a good beat. Yeah, of course, we can't be organized now, can we? It would be nice, though, you know? Of course, if we walk over here, I'm going to grab it, and the metal will be hot. So I got to get pliers out of the drawer, which is incredibly stable. We can't have good things. So there's that. E6019 1F bead. Looks pretty good to me, except towards the beginning when I had trouble getting the arc started. I might have a little bit of undercut there. Hard to tell. No, I don't think that's undercut. It's just a little slag left over. But I'm not going to spend excessive amount of time on each one. It ran fine, but it's about what I'd expect from a rod that's just a glorified 6013. Let's try 1G. I've never been impressed with 6013s. To make this a little shorter, I'm going to show you the root pass, and then I'm going to pause the camera, and then I'll show you the finished product. So you don't have to sit here and watch me do everything. I want to make this quite long. And that slag is not very nice. The slag is a lot like the E6027 slag. Just under the surface is like this hollow lattice-like structure with air bubbles. It's really crunchy. Maybe the best way to describe it. Just beat up this process. I'm going to grab a flap wheel, throw it on this, clean that off, and then move on. That went alright, I would say. I had whenever I did the fit up on that plate, towards the other end, I accidentally left that gap too narrow with the V groove. So towards the end, the rod wasn't able to get the whole way down the groove. And thereby, I just ended up with insufficient penetration down to the very bottom of the root. Let's get a look and see how that actually went. I was raised on wire wheels and chipping hammers. Not wire wheels, wire brushes. You weren't supposed to use wire wheels. But I haven't learned it. Ew! Well, there's that. Honestly, for its amperage parameters, it could go higher. But there, that did look really good, except down to the bottom. See, that's what I was talking about. I ended up letting my gap narrow. I don't know when I tacked this up. But, the bead was not able to sink the whole way down to the backer plate, and I ended up with insufficient penetration and slag inclusions. But I'm going to do 2 more passes over top of that, and I will get back to you momentarily. Alright, so the second bead over, I started as a slow weave, but whenever I hit that slag inclusion from the previous weld bead, because of the insufficient gap, ended up having the arc was sputtering a lot, but it's kind of kept going. I went from a slow back and forth weave into a stringer bead, and I still have a slag inclusion in there. Ideally, I would grind this out. Okay, that's what you would do. You grind it out, and you redo that weld, but I don't really have that time right now, or the motivation, to be honest. It sounds pretty pathetic. But I'm just going to do another bead over top of that. It'll make it disappear. It'll still have a slag inclusion with this. This is an X-ray. It's just a demonstration of it. And I mean, that's kind of what you expect from 6013. Not really, but yeah. End result of the 1G, I'm less than impressed. So I started doing that little side-to-side weave. In reality, I should have done a multi-pass stringer bead, but I started trying to do a little weave back up through there, and it could have been because the large rod diameter and the small space of that V groove ended up just the slag, molten slag of the rod in its own puddle was almost smothering it out. Just trying to go from one side back to the other until it got up here. When it was wider, it had enough room that I could properly move the rod back and forth. But I would say it was, if I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, a combination of improper fit up and the rod diameter for the space it was in. So I just went ahead and ran a flat bead right there, and that turned out pretty good. I wouldn't say this is exactly a representation of all 6019s, but it's capable of doing its job so far, but I'm still not really impressed. Again, the slag suffocating itself I've never been a fan of that. .2G position, we're just going to use this. There's a bit of a groove in there. This is my old bruh moment. I'm going to tack this on the table and run a bead horizontal through that. I'm saving my other figure plates for other stuff. Let's see how this goes, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I accidentally cut that segment, so we're going to end up slicing that. Just gonna do this 2G position here. 3, 2, 1.
-1, -2, -3. Anyhow. There we go. Towards the beginning, I had trouble getting that art going. That said, it was an old 6010 open root plate. I cleaned it up, but that could have been a better 2G weld. I'm just saying.
Let's see where the wire wheels go.
I see undercut. Maybe I can fix that.
Should have used a proper 2G plate instead of just an old
Shallow root pass.
better. That's a lot better.
I don't think I had a very good work angle or travel angle the previous pass. And that was more satisfactory, in my opinion. I'll show you in a second. Oh yeah, that's better. That's a lot better.
Not perfect, but it ain't bad. It's screaming hot. That helmet out of the way. See right there, I've got the root pass was kind of grungy. The top pass, not too bad. It got a little narrow there, but overall the 2G I think did fairly well once they got the arc started. And as a second pass on top of the bead I already laid down. So yes, it can do 2G welds as advertised. Steam explosion. And a bit of a trouble to start at the beginning there. I think I hit an old slide patch. Okay, and now for vertical. We're going to do vertical overhead next. I'm keeping it simple here. Alrighty, vertical up. If 3GR was a thing, and technically it might be, I don't know. It'll be this, which is, we're going uphill, but it's kind of restricted on one side. Although it's more, 6G is more really low. 3R is a different pipe position. But, theorizing here, we're doing a 3G upright, uphill, to be brief. You got about a 1/4 inch root gap there, which is plenty, I believe. See if I can do this. You know what? I was kind of... Once I did vertical up for long enough, I was fairly good at it. But once I get out of the hang of it, maybe it's that backer plate. Running at 140 amps on a 1/4 inch backer, that's a bit much. That's probably part of it. Let's try 130 amps. That's like the minimum for this. Oh boy. Come on. Come on! I should be able to do vertical up better than this. Let me get a 7018, make sure I'm not stupid. It's just the rod or is it me? The pause on the sides, have that gouge out. I had that trouble putting it in class too. All the positions 3G uphill. It's just trying to test me. Break out the 7018. Come on, we can do that. Don't be falling in the stinger. It was alright, but towards the end I started gouging it out, as I tend to do. I'm not so bad at this. There you go, my weakest position, 3G. Congratulations.
Time to test you extensively.
Yep. This looks horrible. I'm supposed to be good at this. I passed D1 in that position. Of course, whenever it gets wider, it gets deeper. This isn't about 7018 though. We're moving on to overhead. We're skipping this. 4G overhead, 140 amps, 5/32 rod. Looks like a 3/16 gap. I'm not letting 3G beat me. I'll do more practicing. You just don't need to see it. And to make things last longer, I'm going to fumble around with that. We're going to pretend 1619 can do 3G. I have no doubt it can with a larger gap and thicker metal. But right now, I'm not happy. So we're just going to go with this. Here's the final part of this. Overhead was never that hard for me personally. Hey guys, well, whatever stuff can fall on the floor, see if I care. I do actually. Of course, it wants to start falling off. What will not? It's going to stay up there as long as I need it to. Take that, whatever's going on there. It did overhead just fine. Performed pretty good. No, that was bad. That was actually really bad. Again, it doesn't help. I've got a tiny gap for a big rod, but we're not going to take that into account right now. We're just going to do another one over top of it. I'm not taking defeat as an answer. If I do that to 7018, much better. We can't everybody. Everybody loves their 7018, but I'm here to try different stuff. Arc. I felt pretty comfortable doing that though. All right, let me stop you right there. So the thing is with the 6019 in the video is when doing overhead, I had a large glob of slag fall down and go in between my glove and my jacket, and I got a third-degree burn on my arm about the size of a silver dollar, a little larger. I mean, lengthwise, widthwise, it was like. Anywho, that's been since November 4th. It's been healing up fairly well. I'm still wrapping it up, but tonight I just have a bandage on it, and because I need to replace this and get a cleaned up here before long anyway. 1 second. Alright, there. The light. Goodness, that lighting's terrible here. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. Had it all up on the side of the arm. There's a spot that healed up. And right up there. And I got some on the top of my hand. But I cut it off there. Yes, I did get the burn on video, but I'm not going to show that because it's not something I want to do. I don't feel that my reaction was one that I appreciate myself. It was kind of spontaneous. So overall, views on the 1619, I don't like it. I have a video coming out somewhere down the line, actually, when I go through and rate all the welding rods in my collection. Well, collection, I do use them in the garage, and that is in there. Personally, it's alright at flat. It's okay at horizontal. Not that great. I mean, in a position where I suppose you have used it sufficiently that where you are used to how to run it, you probably know its ins and outs, but it did not do well all at vertical. Now, that could be attributed to the fact that my fit-up gap for the V-groove was originally intended for a 70/18, so it was like a 1/4 inch gap, and it wasn't the best fit-up. That's slightly narrowed towards the bottom. So it was a 5/32 rod, so it did not fit well in that. And it was a 1/4 inch backer. I was running at 140 amps, so that was blasting out the back. I did later do a whole bunch of vertical up with 70/18, vertical up weaving, and actually I learned vertical up stringers and vertical down stringers just messing around, so I got that fairly down fairly good, just because I was getting a little rusty, so to kind of get myself back into practice, which I did, and I'm happy about that. But that aside, it didn't fare well with vertical. And needless to say, I was less than impressed with overhead. It's just a glorified 6013 with an excessive amount of slag, just like the 6013s tend to exhibit. Now, I'm sure there's people out there who enjoy the 6013s. I personally am not very favorable towards them. That's just a preference. However, I can see how they can be effective on thinner metals, but that's not really my thing, I guess. So overall, it was an interesting rod talk, to say the least. I could have released part 2 already, but that's kind of what I'm doing now, so yeah. It wasn't real impressive. I mean, obviously I'm keeping it on my hand if I need to do something else, but they're not going to be my go-to for welding up projects anytime soon. So I'll leave you to make your own decisions and observations in conclusion based on that welding rod. That's my take on it. So the Kobelco B14, I will leave a link in the description where you can buy it if you so choose to. I personally wouldn't. There's other better options out there that are alternatives to this. Yeah, that's about all I got to say. So, without further ado, happy Thanksgiving. Well, at least this was filmed on Thanksgiving, so yeah, get advantage on this. I got scarring up pretty good. So, every welder scar's got a story to tell, yay. Probably around December-ish, I need to renew my welding cert. I've been keeping up with that, so that's good. So yeah, that's it. Alright. Flutter 69, peace out, all that fun stuff. I probably did the wrong symbol, I don't care. It was impulsive. It doesn't matter. Have a good evening. Stay epic. Take care of yourself. Yeah.